3 months ago, I went all in on Claude and canceled my ChatGPT Plus subscription. I wanted to see if moving my entire daily workflow over to a new model would finally fix the constant consistency issues I was battling every day.
ChatGPT writes like your LinkedIn uncle who discovered bullet points and never recovered.
Start, the strongest and most attractive feature of Claude was the writing quality. And 3 months later, that exact same feature is the main reason I stay. The core problem with ChatGPT is its writing. You give it a task and what comes back is headers you did not ask for along with bullet points where you wanted paragraphs. That generic AI voice scatters through every response no matter how many times you tell it to stop.
You tell it, keep it casual, and it listens for exactly one message before going full corporate robot again. Claude, you paste a few samples of your writing and it just becomes you. This guy used to spend 20 minutes fixing AI responses. Now he barely changes 2 words.
You can put keep it casual with no formatting right in the prompt and it will listen for one reply before going right back to how it always writes. Claude just doesn't do that. When I say casual, it stays casual. When I set a word limit, it respects it. When I ban certain phrases, they don't sneak back in 3 messages later. And custom styles is the feature that makes the absolute biggest difference. I pasted samples of my own writing into Claude months ago. It built a style profile that carries my exact tone and sentence structure into everything it writes for me. I used to spend 15 to 20 minutes reworking every ChatGPT response before I could post it.
Sounds perfect, right? Well, buckle up, because in the next step we find out Claude has a little secret that'll make you want to flip a table.
Setup. Now this is the part nobody talks about, and it's the single biggest frustration I have with Claude right now. Opus 4.6 is Anthropic's best model, and it's incredibly token intensive. On a Claude Pro subscription, you get a usage allowance that resets every 5 hours, and Opus can burn through that entire allowance in a handful of prompts. I've had sessions where I sent one complex message with a large file attached, and the limit was hit before I could send a second. Once that happens, you're locked out of Claude for 5 hours.
That's basically Claude's best model. It's incredible. But it burns through your monthly credits like a teenager with a gift card. Send one big message and boom, you're locked out for 5 whole hours. No switching to a cheaper model. No workaround. Just you staring at a timer.
You cannot just drop down to Sonnet or any lighter model to keep working. Your entire workflow simply stops until the timer resets. And extended thinking makes it worse. When you turn on extended thinking, which is what makes Opus so good at complex problems, the token consumption spikes dramatically because the model is doing more internal reasoning before it responds. The output is better, but the cost per prompt goes way up, and you hit the limit much faster.
But here's the plot twist. Even with this annoying limit, Claude can still build stuff that'll blow your mind in the next step.
What it can build inside the chat is something ChatGPT still can't match. Artifacts are still the most visual difference between the 2 platforms, and 3 months in, I use them more than I expected to. When you ask Claude to build something, it creates a live, interactive output in a separate panel right next to the chat. I've built project trackers, content calendars, client intake forms, and data visualizations that I would have spent hours making in a spreadsheet or paid someone to set up.
We're talking planners, trackers, client forms, and dashboards, all built inside the chat window. You type, make me a weekly planner with drag and drop columns, and Claude hands you a working one like a magic vending machine. No code, no hiring someone, no crying over a spreadsheet at midnight.
Claude does it in about 2 minutes, and because artifacts support persistent storage, the data I enter actually saves between sessions. I'll type, build me a weekly planner that lets me assign tasks to 5 days, drag them between columns, and highlight overdue items in red. And Claude builds a working planner right there in the browser. I can use it immediately. If I want to change, I describe it, and Claude updates the artifact live. That feedback loop of describe, build, test, refine, all inside one conversation is something I've never been able to do in ChatGPT.
Okay, so Claude can write like you and build tools for you. But there's one embarrassing thing it absolutely cannot do, and we're exposing it in the next step.
For a lot of ground, but there's one type of creative work where Claude has nothing to offer, and it's a gap that shows up more often than I expected. ChatGPT has DALL-E and now their own GPT image generator built in, while Gemini gives you Nano Banana too. Claude, on the other hand, has absolutely nothing to show for an image generator. So if you need an image as part of your workflow, whether that's a thumbnail concept, a visual for a presentation, a social media graphic, or even a rough mock-up,
ChatGPT can make images. Gemini can make images. Claude looks you dead in the eye and says, not my department. Need a thumbnail, a graphic, or even a rough sketch? You're switching apps every single time. Anthropic hasn't even announced plans to fix this. So yeah, Claude needs an image babysitter indefinitely.
You're leaving Claude and opening a separate tool every single time. For someone who uses AI primarily for writing and research, this might not matter much, but for anyone who works in content creation, marketing, or anything visual, it's a gap you feel daily. I've lost count of how many times I've been in the middle of a Claude project and had to switch to ChatGPT or Gemini just to generate one image that I needed as part of the deliverable. And this isn't a coming soon situation. Anthropic hasn't announced any plans to add image generation.
But don't dump Claude just yet, because in the next step, it does something that'll make you forget all about those missing images.
Gets better the longer you use it. This is where Claude pulls the furthest ahead, and it's the combination of these three features working together that makes the whole platform feel different from anything else. Connectors run on MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol, and what it does is plug Claude directly into the apps you already use. Right now, the directory has over 50 integrations.
Claude connects to Gmail, Google Drive, Slack, and 50 plus other apps through something called MCP. Think of it as Claude's superpower plugin pack. You literally type, "grab my latest invoice" from Google Drive, and Claude goes and gets it. No tab switching, no copy pasting. Done. That's like having a personal assistant who actually listens on the first try.
Things like Google Drive, Gmail, Slack, and GitHub. And because MCP is open source, new ones show up almost every week. So I can type, "pull my latest invoice from Google Drive," and Claude finds the file and brings it into the conversation without me opening a tab. If I need an email thread, same thing. Claude pulls it in and I can ask questions about it.
And if that wasn't enough, in the next step, Claude gets even smarter the longer you use it, like a sidekick who actually learns your moves.
Use it as context for whatever I'm working on. Memory is the second piece. Claude learns your preferences, your workflows, and your patterns across conversations, and it carries that forward.
Quick pause here. If what I'm sharing is making sense and you're thinking, okay, but how does this actually work in a real system? I've put together a free training that walks through the exact structure and process we use. It's not theory, it's a behind-the-scenes walkthrough of how the system is set up, how the pieces fit together, and how most of the heavy lifting is already handled, so you're not starting from zero. If you want to see how it's structured and decide for yourself if it's a good fit, the link is in the description. All right, let's jump back in.
After 3 months, my Claude already knows how I structure my projects, what tone I prefer, what formats I use for different types of work, and it applies all of that without me restating it every time.
After 90 days, Claude knew this guy's tone, his formats, his workflows, and just applied them automatically every single time. ChatGPT has memory too, but it gets confused and mixes stuff up like a waiter who forgot which table ordered what. Claude also lets you build skills, basically custom versions of Claude trained for specific jobs, like your own little AI army.
ChatGPT has memory too, but in my experience, it drifts faster and mixes context between unrelated chats, while Claude keeps things a lot cleaner. And skills tie it all together. A skill in Claude is basically a custom set of instructions that gets bundled into a skill. Once you create it, you can just tell Claude to use that skill for a specific task, and it instantly knows exactly how to execute it for you.
And that is the full SY2CH system. The exact reason this guy ditched ChatGPT and never looked back. If you want this whole setup done for you without the headache, check the link below. If you like this video, gently hit the like button. If you dislike this video, then share with your friends and family. Because whether you liked it or not, it could be helpful to your friends and family and your social media contact. And if you think we are doing our best to try and explain to you how you can change your life, and you want to watch the next video, then make sure you subscribe to our channel and switch on the notification bell button. And make sure you ask your friends and family and social media contacts to subscribe to our channel, switch on the notification bell button as well. This way, you will help us get 10,000 subscribers in next 3 months. To learn more money techniques, watch these videos, and we will see you on the next one.